Yep, so I wanted to make a little update video on my wolf druid. He is very close to being finished now, and there's only small amount of things I can actually change on him. Um, I've been testing a lot lately, just to see if certain things would be better or not. But it's currently the way I've built him. I kind of like it. I wish I had the whole inventory full of these, but it's too expensive to actually invest in like all three 2020s. It's just so they cost so much. So I didn't have that kind of um, I don't have the items to trade or the goal to trade for these things at the moment, so that's why it's not fully specced out with them. I have a couple of grand charms as well that are pretty nice, but not fully there. And the way he works right now, it's fairly okay. He could definitely get a little bit more, but it's so little. It's stuff like I could get a little bit better um, string of ears. It could be a 15 DR instead of a 14, and this is perfect and that's perfect. I could get a little bit better Reapers. It could be a 240, 14 or 15. I can't remember. Um, but yeah, as I said, it's pretty much everything is goaded on him. Um, but yeah, let's go over the gear. So I use a Reaper's tool with the Sod rune in it for the Decryptify. Um, that helps me in settings where there might be um, physical immunes. So this kind of slaps them and puts the Decryptified on them and lets me do damage to them, even though they're physical immune. But I also do have a couple of other choices. I could swap it out for this Rip Cracker. It's not the best roll. I just kept it in case I ever wanted to try doing Ubers again with him. I do have a second Eth tool here, which I put on my mercenary in case I'm using, let's say I'm using this Rip Cracker or this Thundermaul, then I might put on the Reaper's tool on my mercenary instead. So in case I need the Decryptify, I'll get it off of that. And it is kind of a crazy damage dealing build. I do have this Metamorphosis that I made a while back, but I don't like the way it works. I don't think it's that nice. I kind of like Jalal's better. Besides that, I have this 5 to Fury. I thought maybe it would be nice, but it definitely didn't work as well as I was thinking either. Um, so this would be my dream, basically, to get a 200 ED Jalals that I can put on him, ethereal one, because the one I have right now it's 200 ED, but it's just not ethereal. We got a Demon Limb for the enchant, and I also have this Blood Spirit, which I would use if I do Ubers. A Treachery for the Fade proc, and I have a couple more of those max damage charms that I'm not currently using. We got a Geats that I'm not really using. Some IRS ED jewels that I'm not really using. 220 shapeshifting in case we ever get, or we can, in case we ever, it ever, in case they will change. Holy shit, that was hard to say. In case they'll ever change the shape shifting or like shift it into to a bear or a wolf form, and you can teleport if they ever do that, so we can use Enigma on it. I saved this one just in case. And yeah, let me think. That's pretty much it for the stash right there. So currently I'm using the, as I said, the Reaper's tool, and then we have some tracks for safety, pretty close to perfect. We have a 235/20 Raven, and as I said, we have a 1414 or an 8/1414 opt string of ears, and we got a 35 AR, 5 life stole, 13 dex, 34 life, 10 all res, and 26 fire res ring. And then we have High Lords, of course, and we have the 200 ED Jalals with a 7 faster hit recovery, 34 ED jewel in it. That could also be a tiny bit better. It could have been 40 ED, but it's still nice. And we got the 15 ED Kraken Shell Fortitude, which rolled perfect on the life, and it's 2 off on the all res, so it's nice enough to where I don't want to re-roll it anymore. I've re-rolled it a bunch of times, but this is the closest to perfect I've gotten, so I didn't want to do it again. We also have 200 ED Gores, and of course we got a Torch 1818, we got an Annie 1819 7, and we have, for the swap, I don't use CTA in this build, I use the Harmony bow. Since I don't have Enigma, I want as much, or I want to stack my faster run walk speed as much as I physically can without having to sacrifice a bunch of charms. And the way I do that is I have this on my swap, so whenever I'm not hitting something and I'm running to the next area, I'll swap to Harmony so I can run faster. On my Merc, I'm currently using a Treachery, an Eth Gaze, and an Eth Pride. I do wish this would have been a 20 concentration, but it's 18 and it's close enough to perfect with 292 bonus AR. It's decent enough, so I didn't want to re-roll it anymore in an Eth Treasure. And when you swap to your bow, since you're not using the bow to actually shoot, you won't have arrows on your offhand, and that gives you the 2 red arrows in the corner, and that's how I spot if I'm currently holding the bow or if I'm currently holding the Reaper's tool. Now, in terms of how this works, I make my little zoo, so we'll do a bear, a couple of wolves, there we go. We have an oak sage, and let me just go over the skills. So we maxed out werewolf, lycanthropy, and we put 1 point in these two, and this is the feral rage I use to build up my attack speed and my faster run walk and my lifesteal, and then this is my main attack, the fury, so we maxed out that as well. We've maxed out the oak sage, and the rest of the points have gone into the bear. I could definitely put the rest of the points over in feral rage, which I think I will do once I respec him. Yeah, let me just swap to wolf form. There we go. So for the stats, we got basically, it says 12k damage for the fury, but with the botted thunder maul, it'll go to 21k instead of 12k. I don't have, my reses aren't looking super good or anything, but the lifesteal and the life tab makes me get back my life so fast, and with over 5k health, it's really not necessary having super high resistances, because every time we meet something that has an elemental damage, our lifesteal and the proc from the drags will literally fill our health constantly. We need a little bit more faster hit recovery. I would love it if it was at 86, but that'll take some more charms. And we have a ton of deadly strike, a bit of open wounds, a bit of crushing blow, and of course cannot be frozen. And if you see, this is the normal run speed. So when you don't have any of the things that gives me faster run. Now I'll use the Feral Rage to get the orb to be as big as you can get it. It's right around this area right here. Yeah. And now when I switch to the Harmony Bow, oh, I'm stuck. Now when I switch to Harmony Bow, I'm running really fast. Fast enough to where I don't mind not having Enigma. And this is where just in between mobs I want to use the bow real quick to just basically get from A to B real fast. In Chaos there is really not that much physical immunity, so this is a great spot to use or to grind him. Places I wouldn't go is cows, because I really don't like cows in this build. It's just not that good. Even with the Cryptify on, so I would probably in the future swap for a Cure helmet for my mercenary and then have a Chain of Honor armor just for the cleansing aura, so we can get rid of the Cure or get rid of the curses and stuff a lot faster. That would help immensely. But as you see, it's just, you really don't see my health moving, even though they're hitting me with everything. Physical damage, cold damage, magic damage, whatever. It just never really moves anywhere. And the damage is just incredible. Even on player's aid, it's fairly incredible. I can't remember the last time I died on this build, just because it's such a safety build. It's one of those builds that just you just never, I feel like you're never gonna die on this build, and if you die, it's really unlucky. You hit something, or you had an enemy that had some setup that was just insane, in order to basically damage you that much. So I use the cube as my pickup, because I literally have full inventory space, so there's no way of me picking up anything unless it's going straight into my cube. See, we lost the Feral Rage, so now we're running slow. We want to basically get that orb going again. There we go. Now we're back to, even with the Cryptify on, you can tell how fast I'm running. Let's see, the Sage just got one hit. Let's just walk in here and spawn them all at the once. Hey boys, even if they had Conviction and I had lower res, you wouldn't see my health moving here. It's just insane. It is incredible. It works out extremely well. As I said, I have yet to die on this build. I haven't died on it since I upgraded everything, and it's been incredible. The damage is just incredible, and not having to deal with physical immunes due to the Cryptify really does help out so much. And as I said, having 5k, over 5k, almost 6k health is incredible with no bow, and if I get a barbarian to bow me, I'll have basically almost 10k health, and it's just, then he cannot die unless it's in like let's say it's a PvP or something like that, then you might get smacked. But on this, it's just incredibly useful, and it is one of the slower builds because you don't have Enigma. But even without Enigma, it's just the damage on them is incredible. And as a kid, this was always my favorite build, just because it looked so cool running around like a wolf. And I was not, you could say, I didn't care too much about what was the best. I more cared about what looked the coolest when I was a kid. So that's why this used to be my favorite build back in the day when I was just starting out playing the game. Um, yeah, if you like my setup, if you like the build, if you have questions or suggestions, please put it in the comments below, and I'll definitely read your comment, and I'll hit you back with my opinion on what you're saying. Um, I've tested so much on this build, and I've come to the conclusion that my favorite setup is this setup right now. And then of course sometimes if I'm doing, like, let's say I do bear runs or something like that, I'll swap out for my Baudet just for the extra damage. I can real quick show it. Put the Baudet on. So 12,000 AR and 25k damage is incredible. It's just ridiculous. So good, man. It's so good. But this can't deal with the physical immunes, so that's why I, for the most part, use my tool instead of that. But this is still, it's just in the in terms of power, it's incredible. I do have this base that I was thinking about making into a new fortitude, but I haven't really gone that far yet. I don't think I want to. I kind of like the look of the Kraken shell. It has a super cool look. It gives them golden pants and these golden arms, you could tell, or I don't know what you want to call it, but it looks mad cool. I really like the character's skin with this armor on. And then of course having like a big scythe in your hand, it just looks freaking cool when it's ethereal, and it just looks mad. But yeah, I appreciate you watching, and hit me up if you want to know something or if you have some suggestions, and have a Merry Christmas, and I'll catch you in the next one.